And here is the match race. Gift Box and McKenzie square off in the big cap, and McKenzie comes right to him with a furlong left to go. Mongolian Groom is in third, followed by Prime Attraction. It's Gift Box and McKenzie in a showdown. McKenzie or Gift Box, nose and nose, neither one giving an edge. McKenzie, Gift Box, or McKenzie, Gift Box.
All right, welcome back to Racing Rundown. Today we got some Breeders' Cup race previews, and I just quickly want to answer this. I've gotten a couple DMs from people asking me, now that the Triple Crown's over, what's going to happen, and really not much is going to change with the channel. Still going to be the weekly podcasts on Tuesday, but what's going to happen now is now that I'm done with school, I will have time to give each race. Hopefully I'll have time, barring anything unforeseen happening. I'll have time to give each race, whether or not it's a Breeders' Cup race. If it's just a significant race, I'll have the time to break it down. And it'll be something like the Belmont Profile Series and the Preakness Profile Series, except we're just going to cover the entire race. We're not going to cover horses individually, and we're not going to do the individual horse pieces probably until the Y horses will win the Kentucky Derby Series next spring. There's just simply not enough time to give each horse, and really not much races are deep enough that will provide enough content for one horse, one video. I mean, I say that, and maybe, for some of them I'll be able to do one horse, one video, but we'll see how things play out as we go through the summer. But usually I'm going to try to give each prep race its own separate segment, but in this case, it's just really not possible to do that. We got two races this weekend, the Stephen Foster and the Fleur de Lis. Both of them are Grade 2 races. They were both downgraded from Grade 1 status last year. Again, I'm not really going to get into the topic of why they were downgraded. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm not going to open that can of worms right now. But they still have their Breeders' Cup winning your in status. But the one thing I'm going to say about the Fleur de Lis, and this is why I'm combining them, is because it's really not that simple. I'm going to give my opinion on it right now. Really, it's just a case of how much does Elate want to win by in this race. I think Elate is hands down, far and away, better than most of the other horses in this race. I think the only other horse in this race that I would say is even something that I would even consider is She's a Julie. She won the La Torienne, and really, she won that race, but I think it's just a case of Elate. How much is she going to win by? She gets I'm not going to say a well-needed class reprieve, but the first time this year that she's going to run without Midnight Bisou in the race, and I think that's definitely going to benefit her. She lost twice to Midnight Bisou in Oaklawn during the spring, and I think this not having to run against her is going to benefit her significantly. Elate, you could make a case that she's the second best older mare in the country. Right now, she's the second best in training. Like I said last week, we really don't know what is up with Monomoy Girl. You could play the Where's Waldo game with Monomoy Girl, but, right now, she's the second best, but Elate, I think it's Midnight Bisou is far and away above her. I like Elate in this race, though. She'll get a Breeders' Cup spot and probably run against Midnight Bisou if all goes well for both of them. But it's just that this race is not really that hard to predict. Like I said, I think it's a case of how much is she going to win by. Shifting gears now to the Stephen Foster winning your in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. I think this is not the exact opposite, but I think this is a little bit different. Yes, there is one horse that looks like he's better. I'm not going to say far and away better. If Gift Box had won the Hollywood Gold Cup or the Gold Cup at Santa Anita, whatever it's called now, then I would say he's the front runner in the older male horse division, and he's far and away better than every horse in this race. But that did not happen, and I'm not saying that he's better than every horse in this race. I think he is the best. Well, I think he's the best horse, but I don't think he's far and away the best horse. I think this is an interesting race with some horses that are, like I've been saying this whole year, this older male division is lacking a superstar at this point. And, I was thinking that at this point, maybe that would have emerged, but now I'm starting to think that I'm not really sure that we're going to get one. I think it's just going to be, there's a couple of really talented horses that will win some races, but I don't think there's going to be a standout. And there's not always usually a standout. It's trended that way in the past, but it's not always the case with that. I think back to 2015, there wasn't a single horse. It's just that the last 4 years, there's been California Chrome 2016, Gunrunner 2017, and Accelerate last year, 2018. Excuse me, that was only 3 years. But in 2015, you had Honor Code won a couple of races. Liam's Map, another very solid horse, and Tonalist, who also won some races. Those were 3 good older males. Of course, we all know the best horse in 2015 was American Pharoah. Second best was Beholder. None of the males really factored. Now, like I said, I think the best horse this year is Bricks and Mortar, and I think the second best horse is Monomoy Girl, and I think the best older male horse in the country that's running on dirt is Maitoli, but I think Maitoli is going to stay on the sprint route. We'll see what happens with that, but I really don't think that they're going to push him at distance because I think they like where he is in the sprint division. I didn't talk to Steve Asmussen deeply. I talked to him about what he's going to do with Midnight Bisou, but I did not ask him about Maitoli. But I mean, if you're asking me right now and you really wanted me to give you an answer, I'd say the best horse in the country, Bricks and Mortar, best male dirt horse is Maitoli. But I think, there's a couple of solid older males, like I said, Giftbox. I think Giftbox might ultimately come out of this race ahead of everyone else. So Giftbox is going to be my pick for this race, but there's a bunch of horses in this that are at the very least, if not win contenders, interesting. You got Seeking the Soul, who was second in the Pegasus World Cup Dirt and third in the Ali Sheba Stakes. I don't think Seeking the Soul is necessarily that good, but he's the kind of horse that dances every dance, and he usually picks up a piece of it. So while I'm not necessarily saying he's a winner, look for him in the race somehow. I think he'll definitely factor. Like I said, Giftbox, he's my win pick, and I think he could emerge from this race as maybe the best older male in the country, but we'll see. Or at least older male non-sprinter. You got Tenfold, who won the Pimlico Special last time out. Steve Asmussen didn't say this to me, but he said this in the past, that Tenfold is going to improve like Gunrunner improved. Now, what I interpreted that, and you could have interpreted that differently, I interpreted that as he's going to improve. He didn't say he's going to be as good as Gunrunner was his 4-year-old season. I think Tenfold definitely has improved and is going to run some strong races this year. I think maybe give him another year, maybe even another 2 years, and he could be a really good horse. But at this point, I think it's just a case of, he's interesting, but not necessarily in the class of the top horses. And we really don't know who the top of this division is, but I don't think he's going to be the top of it. I think he won the Pimlico Special, which is kind of a lower tier race, kind of like a little bit lesser than the Oaklawn Handicap. I'm not taking anything away from the Oaklawn Handicap. We'll get to the Oaklawn Handicap winner quip in a couple of minutes, but I think it's kind of the case of, he won that kind of race, but we'll see what happens with Tenfold. The second choice is probably going to be Tom's Day Tot. He was 9th in the Pegasus World Cup, 2nd in the Ali Sheba Stakes. He gets a class reprieve, like a lot of these horses in this are getting. Tom's Day Tot, I'm not really interested in him. If you like him, good for you. I don't, personally, so, that's your play. Quip, like I just said, won the Oaklawn Handicap last time out. There's some question marks about him running on a fast dirt track. We'll see what happens with him. I don't really necessarily think he's 100% the best horse. I think that there are some horses better than him, but he's interesting. So I would not be surprised if Quip won this race. I'm not necessarily going to say that he's a particularly strong case, but if he won, I would not be surprised at all. And then the last horse that I'm going to talk about is Yoshida. Yoshida has been kind of like a horse like Catholic Boy, shifting between the grass and the dirt. And my play on his future is exactly the opposite one that I had with Catholic Boy. It's good for Catholic Boy that he can win races on the dirt. It's the same play that I had with Catholic Boy and with World of Trouble now that I think about it. I think both of them, it's good that they can win on dirt, and it's going to look good once they eventually decide to go to the breeding shed. But I think their future is on the grass, and I think Yoshida's future is probably on the dirt. Yoshida was 6th last time out in the Dubai World Cup. He's been overmatched a lot his past 3 times running specifically. Since winning the Woodward Stakes, he's finished 4th in the Breeders' Cup Classic, 6th in the Pegasus World Cup Turf, and 6th in the Dubai World Cup. All those were against really good horses. He lost the Breeders' Cup Classic to Accelerate. He lost the Pegasus World Cup Turf to the horse that I think at this point is going to be Horse of the Year, Bricks and Mortar. And then he lost the Dubai World Cup to Thunder Snow, who I think is the best horse ever in the history of Maidan. So he gets a much needed class reprieve. Don't necessarily like him specifically, but Billy Mott is one of the best trainers in the business of picking out the right place to run the horse. And he's doing that with Elate, and he's doing that with Yoshida. This is the right place for Yoshida to come back off that 6th place performance in the Dubai World Cup. But like I said, my winners for this weekend, I'm going to take Elate and I'm going to take Giftbox. Although I would not be surprised if Giftbox loses. I would be very surprised if Elate loses. I think that this is a solid field, but I think really the only superstar that could come from this race is Giftbox. And even if Giftbox wins this, I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's a very good horse that is going to be in contention for the Breeders' Cup Classic. But I don't think a superstar older male is going to materialize this year. So that's it for the Stephen Foster and Fleur de Lis preview. I will be back with you guys this weekend for a live show. I'm going to announce this right now, and I'm really sorry to disappoint some of you guys who are looking forward to having a live streamed interview with Gary Stevens. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So unfortunately, what is going to end up happening is I'll have to push back the debut date of that until next Tuesday. The interview is still happening, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it live. But what I think I can get you guys this as kind of a consolation. If you have a question for the Hall of Famer Gary Stevens, send it to me, and I think I'll take some of the better questions that I get. So I think I'll take probably 5 questions from the audience. So you can send them to me. You can either DM them to me on Instagram, Twitter. You know my handles. You can DM me on YouTube, and you can even comment them on any post. Don't comment them on any post because I'm not going to go back through and look for the first post. But you can comment them on this. You can comment them during the live show this week, and I'll take any of those down. And you can comment them on, or tweet at me, DM me, whatever you want. But I think I can do that for you guys because I don't think I'll be able to do a live stream of the interview. If it changes, I'll let you guys know, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work out. Like I just mentioned, plug for the social media. Follow me on Twitter at Rundown Racing. That's the best place to get my live up-to-date opinions on whatever's going on. You can also follow me on Instagram at Racing Rundown Podcast. I'm not as active on there, but if you're interested, you can go check out the interviews that I had at Belmont Stakes weekend. We had interviews with Jay Pribman, Hall of Fame trainer Steve Asmussen, and NBC handicapper Eddie Olczyk. So that's it for this video. I will see you guys on Saturday for the live show. I will be releasing what my topics will be. Basically, what we're going to talk about is we'll talk about Santa Anita. I did want to get a video out about Wonder Godot's retirement last week because I saw that popped up on, I believe it was last Thursday. I wanted to talk about that. Unfortunately, time did not allow me to do that. So the first opportunity that I'm going to get is this weekend. So I hope to take advantage of that. We're obviously going to be talking about everything that's going on at Santa Anita because it's really a circus down there. And then just whatever you guys want to talk about. So that's what it is. You got Wonder Godot retirement, you got Santa Anita, and then you got audience topics. So that's the live show for this Saturday. Interview happening on Monday, release date Tuesday. I will see you guys for all that. Podcast will probably still come out on Tuesday because I'll make all that stuff. I'll have the interview stuff done on Monday, and then I'll just release it on Tuesday. But so you got that to look forward to. If you're playing the races this weekend, good luck, and I'll see you guys on Saturday.
Top of the stretch and a 4 wide. Giant Expectations is coming to challenge with Quip. These two off the top of the turn. Pioneer Spirit is battling on, as is Remembering Rita. 4 across the track, might be 5 because Lone Sailor's on the move as well. Quip has the lead. Giant Expectations and Quip leads. To the outside, Lone Sailor. At the rail, Pioneer Spirit. It is Quip just in front and Lone Sailor.